good evening, and welcome to all honorable participants in this Zoom chamber. Before we begin tonight's debate sparring between Madrasah Mualimin and Madrasah Mualimat, we cordially ask to all distinguished participants to open the video camera and mute the microphones. Maaf, apakah suara saya terdengar dengan jelas?
Ya.
Oke, saya lanjutkan. Alright, we will start the agenda right now. The Honorable Mr. Munzilin, as the representative of the Director of Madrasah Mualimin, the Honorable Mr. Setia, as the representative of the Director of Madrasah Mualimat, all distinguished educators, juries, coaches, teachers, spectators from both Madrasah Mualimin and Madrasah Mualimat, and all participants of this Zoom chamber. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, wa ala alihi wa ashabi ajma'in amma ba'd. We are very grateful and happy to welcoming all distinguished participants for tonight's event, and it will be the first ever debate sparring between Mualimin and Mualimat through online. We thank to Allah and all of the parties that involved here so it could be happened. Before we enter the main session, please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Hafizan, and I will be the MC or chairperson for tonight's debate. And firstly, we will hear a warm welcoming speech that will be delivered by the head of Language Improvement Affair of Madrasah Mualimat to the Honorable Mr. Setia. Please, time is yours.
Okay, so thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah, nahmaduhu wa nasta'inu wa nastaghfiruh wa na'udzu billahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina. Nahdihillahu fala mudilla lahu wa may yudlil fala hadiya lahu. Asyhadu an la ilaha illallah, asyhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh, la nabiyya ba'da amma ba'du. The Honorable Mr. Yordan Gunawan, the Honorable Mr. Arumbina, the Honorable Ms. Novi and Mr. Munjilin, Mr. Herian, and all debaters and all the students from Mualimin and Mualimat Muhammadiyah in Jakarta. So, first, let's thank and pray into our God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who has been giving us mercy and blessing, so we can meet here virtually, I think. So secondly, may peace and salutation always be given to our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So firstly, I just want to say thank you very much for Mr. Hafizan for arranging this agenda today. Yeah, I hope that we can continue and carry on this agenda. Yeah, with a good cooperation between Mualimin and Mualimat. Yeah, so next thing we have to do it again, absolutely. So all of the students, I hope that you can take this chance to practice a lot, because it's your time to practice about your skill, about your competencies, and just do it with your strengths. No matter what happens, just do it. That's the most important thing. When we think about debate, I just think about one movie. The title is about the great debaters. I just want to take it quote it in one scene. Who is your judge? The judge is God. Why is God? Because he decided to lose or win, not my opponent. Who is your opponent? My opponent doesn't exist. Why it doesn't exist? Because he will only dissenting truth I speak. That's good things, because debate is about the telling the truth, not about just a victory, but the telling the truth. Yeah. So debate is a blood sport. It is combat. Your weapons are words, I think. So the thing that you have to do it honestly, do it with your strengths right now, right away, and use your potential, use your own, all of your opinion, of your energy, of your idea, just put in here. Yeah, just doing something like that, because the thing that you have to do it with the truth of your life. Just telling the truth, what you think that is true. Just don't think about the victory or the win or something like that, because this is just practice. This is just training now. Okay, that's all about my speech, I think. Thank you very much for this time, and just break a leg for this practicing. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, thank you, Mr. Setia. We are sending our biggest thanks to Mr. Setia and his fellow team from Madrasah Muallimat for preparing tonight's occasion. Ladies and gentlemen, secondly, we will hear another welcoming speech that will be delivered by the head of Language Improvement Affair of Madrasah Muallimin to the Honorable Mr. Munzilin. Please, the room is yours.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good evening, everyone. It's a good and great evening tonight. We got meeting and match up from between Muallimin and Muallimat. I think that sounds great because this will be very good plan by Hafizan San team for preparing Muallimin's debate team for the competition of IREC in Gadjah Mada University. So I say very deep thank you to Ustad Hafizan San team for preparing this team to get ready and to prepare for these competitions. And I say thank you too to all of the trainers and coaches, and also the juries tonight that you are available to join this meeting and then this debate training, I think. And I say thank you to Muallimat's team and the students and also the debate team from Madrasah Muallimat, that you are very kind to be the partners of debate matchup tonight with Muallimin's debate team. And we hope we can benefit a lot from this, let's say, matchup, and then from what we got from tonight will be big lessons, big training for the preparations. I think the goal, the measure and the goals is for the competition in IREC, but tonight it's, let's say, this is like sparring with Muallimat's team, and this is good too for making knowledge silaturahim between Muallimin and Muallimat. And good luck for Muallimin's team debates. I hope to do your best, and we hope and we pray that this will be one of our study and in the process of learning, not only for for the competition, but also what we can get for our lives. I think that's all, Mr. Brother Hafizan. Thank you for the times. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Mr. Munzilin, for the welcoming speech. Ladies and gentlemen, now we move to the breathtaking agenda. But before we begin the real sparring, I would like to invite all of the adjudicators and juries to briefly introduce themselves for tonight's debate. And the first jury is the Director of International Relations Office of UMY or UMY, Mr. Yordan Gunawan. Good evening and welcome, Mr. Yordan. Am I audible?
Thank you very much. I can hear your voice well. So
Okay,
should I introduce myself now?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, right. So thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Pak Setia, Pak Munzilin, and also colleagues from Muallimin and so Muallimat, Brother Arun Binang, and all the judges and all participants here. My name is Yordan Gunawan. I'm currently the lecturers of Faculty of Law, Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta. Currently, I'm sitting as Director of International Relations Office of Universitas Muhammadiyah
Thank you very much, Mr. Jordan, for the introduction. And the second jury is the staff of International Relation Office of UMY, Mr. Muhammad Haziar Arumbina. Good evening and welcome, Mr. Bina. Am I audible?
Yes, good evening.
Okay, please go ahead. Introduce yourself. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening, everyone. Pak Setia, Pak Bunzilin, Bapak Yordan, Mbak Novi, and Mas Hafizan, and all the participants for this debate competitions or debate sparring tonight. My name is Muhammad Hasyar Arumbinang. I'm an alumni of International Program for Law and Sharia, Universitas Muhammad Jakarta. I'm currently a student in Melbourne Law School, Australia. I was a staff in international office of Universitas Muhammad Jakarta, but currently I am a student.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Arumbinang. And the last jury is the debate coach of Madrasah Mualimat. She is Miss Novi Retno Ardianti. Good evening and welcome, Miss Novi. Am I audible? I'm sorry, Miss Novi. You are currently unmuted.
Okay.
Sure.
To apologize, I forgot to unmute myself. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Novi Retno Ardianti. Currently, I am the coach of Mualimat debating community. I'm also the member of Jogja Debating Forum. So I hope this agenda will be goes continuously and everyone will are able to proliferate the skill and knowledge about the debate. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Miss Novi. Those are all of the juries and adjudicators for tonight's debate. Next, since the coin toss has been arranged on 3 p.m., so right now, both teams will directly start their case building, separated in breakout rooms for total 45 minutes, within 30 minutes of case building and 15 minutes for Isha break. Two other distinguished participants are allowed either to stay or leave the room until the round begins on the next 45 minutes. The last I say thank you and good luck for both teams. Okay, welcome back all of the speakers to the Zoom chamber. Are you all ready to begin the round? Okay, before we begin the round, let me introduce the speakers of both teams. On my right side is the government team from Madrasah Mualimin. The first speaker is Fian. Good evening and hello, Fian.
Hello.
And then the second speaker is Salman. Good evening and hello, Salman.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
The third speaker is Rashid. Good evening and hello, Rashid.
Good evening, Mr. Jordan, Ms. Novi, and Brother Hafizan. Night.
And the reply speaker will be delivered by Fian. Next, on my left side is the opposition of the house from Madrasah Mualimat. The first speaker is Anissa. Good evening and hello, Anissa.
Good evening, everyone.
And then the second speaker is Olivia. Good evening and hello, Olivia.
Good evening and hello.
The third speaker is Lauza. Good evening and hello, Lauza.
Good evening. Hello, everyone.
And the reply speaker will be delivered by Olivia. Okay, thank you. Last, I would like to briefly explain the main rules for the debate. First, each speaker will be given maximum of 7 minutes and 20 seconds to present their speech. And for the reply speakers will be given the maximum of 4 minutes and 20 seconds. Second, the online stopwatch will ring the bell once after 1 minute. It means the opposite team are permitted to deliver their POI, and it will ring the bell once with different sound after 6 minutes. It means the POI are closed. And at the end of 7 minutes, the alarm will ringing as the sign of maximum time. So now I will share the screen for the timer, and if the time reach 1 minute, the bell will ring like this. Does the sound appear in your screen?
Yes.
Okay, once again, I will repeat. When the time reach 1 minute, the sound gonna be like this. And when it reach 6 minutes, the sound gonna be like this. And when it reach the maximum of time at 7 minutes, it's gonna be like this. The alarm will ringing, and the last for the maximum 7 minutes of and 20 seconds, the alarm gonna be like this. Okay, enough. And fourth, the last, in case of technicality fault or bad connection which cause the speaker disappear in the middle of his or her speech, the chair will be waiting for about 1 minute until the person come back. If he or she did not come back after 1 minute, then the chair will move the turn to the next speaker. The time for him or her will be paused and allow it to continue the speech after he or she come back. Okay, any questions from the speakers?
The
No,
BOI
thank you.
Yes, Rashid? Any question?
untuk BOI-nya belum dijelasin.
Oh yeah, okay. I'm sorry. POI with maximum time of 15 seconds are delivered directly by unmuting the microphone and giving sign of interruption. The address speaker are allowed to accept or reject the POI. Jadi nanti kalau ada yang mau POI langsung unmute terus langsung memberikan tanda-tanda mau POI gitu ya. Jadi boleh menyela gitu. Nanti untuk speaker yang sedang berbicara boleh menolak atau menerima POI tersebut. Ada lagi pertanyaan dari speaker? Cukup? Okay, it's enough. So tonight we're gonna debate upon the motion. This House believes that Tokyo Olympic 2021 should be cancelled and all of the money allocated to run the Olympic needs to be redirected to COVID-19 solvency and recovery. I've written the motion on the room chat so you can see on the room chat. And to start the debate for tonight, now I would like to call upon the first speaker of the government team to deliver his substantive speech. To Fion, please, room is yours.
Okay, so thank you to Brother Hafizan for letting me deliver my speech. So the honorable judges, adjudicators, and my fellow friends. So the problem that we're currently facing against is a deadly virus from Wuhan, China, which is the main reason why the whole world today is in disorder. Because from the start of March until the start of October 2020, there's been almost 1.08 million people died in result from the COVID-19 pandemic. And the urgency from our side of the house is, we from the affirmative team believe, and it is a matter of fact, that more than 200 countries out there are struggling against this virus by undergoing health protocols such as lockdowns. And for examples, there are countries that are using localized lockdowns where only specific local authorities are prohibiting their citizens from going outside and interacting with their neighbors. We can see this happening in countries like Japan, Hong Kong, and also Indonesia. And there's also full and thorough lockdowns where not only the citizens are not allowed to interact with neighbors, but the whole world, but the whole country cut ties with its neighboring countries by closing their borders. Such examples can we see from countries like Iran, Malaysia, and New Zealand. And you see, ladies and gentlemen, these and the impacts of these lockdowns for the society is that 81% of the global workforce, which contains about 3.3 billion workers,
had their workplace to be fully or partly closed by the start of April 2020, which then result in the economic recession which we now see throughout all countries around the world. But the question that should be asked here, which also doubles as my justification point, is why are there still people out there that support for the International Olympic Committee or the IOC, or in our case, the Japanese government, to spend more than $12.6 billion on conducting the 2021 Tokyo Olympic, which is only a sports competition venue, which in the nature of Olympic and sports competition itself was not intended to go in line with the current health protocol, because the athletes of sports competitions need the flexibility to not use masks, to not distance from their opponents. See, we can take an example. Why would someone from the swimming branch be obligated to use masks every time they take a breath of fresh air from the surface of the water? Imagine if the athletes from the running branch is obligated to keep their distance from other opponents. So that is why our side of the house believes that based on the nature itself, based on the nature of Olympic and sports competition, those two cannot be mixed together with the current health protocols. And so the goal that the government side wants to propose in this debate, ladies and gentlemen, is that we should cancel the 2021 Tokyo Olympic and reallocate the money that is supposedly going to be used to fund the Olympics and use that to provide recovery aids, be it in a form of medicine, for example, like money to assist the financial power of scientists from around the world, to develop vaccines for the COVID-19, or maybe in a form of medical equipments such as masks, hazmat suits, and ventilators, or be it in any form of assistance to countries that are significantly affected by the outbreak of the COVID-19. So now let's talk about how our side of the house will model this motion. So by canceling the Tokyo 2021 Olympic, which means all events will also be canceled. That is including all the sports competition and such. And after the cancellation of the Olympic, then the huge funds which was previously allocated for the Olympics event will then be reallocated for the needs of humanity, which includes providing recovery aids in the form of funds to help the financial power of the international scientist community, which has mostly committed themselves towards developing COVID-19 vaccines. And it will also be allocated in the form of medical equipment, which I have mentioned earlier, such as masks, hazmat suits, and ventilators. And the recovery aids, it is not limited to only a material form, but can also be in the form of human resources, such as sending doctors from Japan, because Japan has the most brilliant doctors in the world, and so they can send those doctors to other countries that is on edge because of this coronavirus. And before I end my speech, are there any POIs from the opposition team?
POI, please.
Yes.
Do you think that the coronavirus have a sponsor that we don't have to allocate all the Tokyo Olympics fund to recover the COVID-19, because COVID-19 have their own sponsors like big companies and others?
Well, yes. Maybe you think that there are sponsors out there that are giving their fundings to help for the COVID-19, but it's mostly not even significant, not a bit. But what about the Tokyo Olympics, which has $12.6 billion of fundings? And I quote from the BBC. I think it was double that, double 12.6 according to the survey. Thank you. Proud to propose.
Okay, thank you for Fian as the first government team for his substantive speech that spanned 7 minutes and 24 seconds. Ladies and gentlemen, now we move to the first speaker of the opposition team. I would like to call upon the first speaker of the opposition team to Anissa, please. The room is yours.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, we do agree that COVID-19 needs much of funding, but we do not agree that we should allocate our budget on that. We all know that COVID is really dangerous and needs to be solved and recovered as fast as we can. If we do not move fast, probably many people will suffer from this pandemic. But we believe that COVID has been helped by many sides. First, COVID is a health problem who has been helped by World Health Organization. We all around the world have the systematic rules how to prevent COVID-19 spread and solve the COVID provided by the World Health Organization, such as social distancing, wearing masks to prevent spread the droplets, keep our body clean to avoid the virus in our external body, and the most important is the stay home tradition. The World Health Organization also do the research how to solve and recover COVID as fast as we can. But we all know that this may take time. Vaccines should be examined many times before it can be produced and distributed all around the world. All the companies around the world are giving their best to support the COVID-19 solvency and recovery. They give their funds to help the hospital who take care of the patients, providing the health protocols such as surgery masks, hazmat suit, and other things. Also giving their fund to help making of the vaccine to be clear as fast as they can do. But as I said before, making vaccine is taking many time for research and examination. We don't want a failure on making this vaccine only because we want to recover as fast as we can. If we fail only because we run out of the time, all population of human beings around the world will be the victim, and probably many of us die because of the failure. Time cannot be purchased by money. So allocating the fund of Tokyo Olympic is not going to be effective. Second, if we're talking to human crisis, as I said to you before, all companies around the world are struggling to help everything caused by COVID. For the example, one of the biggest companies in industry, Unilever, are taking the responsibilities to make sure the food bank in the world is enough so everyone can fulfill their needs. They also give a lot of hand sanitizer, soap, and product to make sure every hospital is hygienic. They also make a charity into people who need so they can run their small business in this pandemic time. They also make sure that every religion house are clean and hygienic to prevent people infected while praying. I think because the responsibilities to help every side of COVID is already taken by many sides, idea of allocating the fund of Tokyo Olympic to COVID is a bit unneeded. Meanwhile, Tokyo Olympic is a sport competition held by the International Sport Federation, which is totally different with COVID's holder. They should have different fund allocation. Many company and country has been joined to solve that COVID, but nothing cares about the sports side. Now, because the sponsor company are focusing on solving and recovering COVID-19, the sports world are not having enough fund to keep survive in the future. If the funds are allocated into the COVID solvency, yes, the COVID will be handled. But in the future, there will be no more sports to be proud of. We cannot proud if our country, Indonesia, has the best male double player of badminton in the world. We cannot proud if we have one of the best female volleyball team. This is because the International Sport Federation has no enough fund to help the international sports competition, because all of the fund in Tokyo Olympic are allocated to solve COVID. The government might say that they have sponsors, so nothing to worry. But as I said before, all the companies of the sponsor are focusing to solve COVID. After the COVID ended, they are focusing to regain the fund to keep operating their companies. At the end of the day, there will nothing who cares about sports world. Yes, COVID is indeed an urgency, but we have to think the long time term so we can keep all sides of the world surviving. So allocating the fund of the Tokyo Olympic is beneficial for the sports world. Ladies and gentlemen, by my sentence before, our stand is clear that we want to keep hold the Tokyo Olympic 2020, and we will focus in the fund into the we will focus in the fund into the Tokyo Olympic 2020. Disclaimer, we are not going to talk about the usual Tokyo Olympic, which has every country supporter to support their country. So we will invite a lot of mass and causing the spread of COVID will be bigger. We will help the Tokyo Olympic in the system. First, the participant is only the green sign country, which has good solvency about COVID. Okay, I think enough. Thanks for your attention.
Okay, thank you so much for the first speaker of the opposition that spans 6 minutes and 9 seconds. Now we would like to call upon the second speaker of the government team to deliver his substantive speech. To Mr. Salman, please, the room is yours.
Okay, thank you for the time. So first I will rebut Anissa argument. She said that COVID-19 already helped by many sides such as WHO and other like social distancing, etc. Yes, it is true, but even helped by the World Health Organization or even the United Nations, we all know that it is not successful. The COVID is still a big problem in our world nowadays. And she doesn't give an example, either this is successful or not. But I told you that this is the first argument from the opposition team is not successful, and we need the money from the Tokyo Olympic, that is $12.6 billion to help recover and solve COVID. She said that I will rebut the second argument. She said that allocating money from Olympic will not be effective. It is not true, because money that given to recipient countries will effectively reduce COVID-19 spreadness. Example, Italy. It is the first country to reach 10,000 cases in the world. The first country that chaos because of this pandemic. But the European Union act fast by giving Italy a bunch of money to recover their country from COVID, and this is successful because Italy's success to flatten their curve from early July until early September. It is a big, it is very successful, because many other countries that are not receiving help is still struggling in this pandemic. And the third argument is different money allocation. It's similar with the first argument, but yes, it's true. The money allocation is different. The Olympic is for sport and not for health. But in the name of humanity, why we need sports in the middle of this pandemic when people are dying outside there in Africa, in Asia, and even in Indonesia, people are still struggling to alive. Why we should proud when someone win in swimming brands or football brands? It is not important at all, because human life is the most important thing in humanity. Moving to my argument that Tokyo Olympic is just only become a new cluster of coronavirus, because it is a worldwide sports event followed by more than 11,000 athletes from all over the world. It is confirmed by the IOC, so I not agree with Anissa proposal that the Olympic will just be followed by the green country, the country that success in COVID-19 pandemic, but it is followed by more than 11,000 athletes from all over the world. And the nature of the Olympic itself, it is not in line with our health protocol. And why it, and I will give you some example that even without spectator, even with social distancing, that this Olympic will just become a new cluster of corona. 5 best league, 5 best football leagues in Europe, Bundesliga, Serie A, La Liga, and other league is using social distancing and using health without spectator. But in that 5 best league in the world, is many player is tested positive for the COVID-19, even in not just in football brands, but in baseball. From America, Tom Seaver, a professional baseball athlete, a baseball superstar in America, died because of COVID in August 31. So Tokyo Olympic is just will make the COVID situation worse, and it will be much better to allocate all the money to solve and recover the pandemic in the name of humanity. Any POI from the opposition side? Okay, because there's no POI, I think that's it. Proud to propose.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for the second speaker of the government team. That 5 minutes and 41 seconds. Next, we would like to call the second speaker of the opposition team to deliver a substantive speech. I call upon the Miss Olivia to deliver his speech. Please, yours.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to respond to the argument of the first speaker and also the second speaker of the government team. First of all, they said that people have been locked in the house and has been locked in the lockdown since March until the October, which means until now it is counted by 8 months. So they are prohibited to come outside. So let's think about this. If we are locked down in the house, what can we do? We only do like schools from home, like work from home, like right? So I think it is quite depressed and make distressed of the people itself. And the second speaker of the government said that people dying out there, like in Africa, even in Indonesia. So why should we help Tokyo Olympic if it is only make the people dying and make a cluster of coronavirus? First, I am talking about the mental health. We are stuck and locked down in the house without anything can we do for free. So Tokyo Olympic is one of our trying to be best to give the entertainment for the people to give their mental health happy, to support their country itself to competing in the Tokyo Olympic itself. And then they cannot give us why the coronavirus is very deadly full. Why the coronavirus is very, they only talking about the hazmat suit or medical equipment. So we have to fund the Tokyo Olympic fund to the COVID, but they are not thinking about the mental health of the people who has been locked down in the house since 8 months ago. Now, since my partner's speech are not finished yet, I will give all my speeches and all my partner's speeches. And our stand is clear that we want to keep hold the Tokyo Olympic 2020 and will focusing the fund into the Tokyo Olympic 2020. Disclaimer, we are not going to talk about the usual Tokyo Olympic, which has every country supporter to support their country. So we will invite a lot of mess and causing the spread of COVID will be bigger. No, we are not going to do that. We will help the Tokyo Olympic in this system. First, the participant is only the green sign country which has a good solvency about COVID. This is to keep the other athlete healthy and minimize the chance of infecting each other. Why we should do that? Because first of all, we want to keep all participants, including the staffs and the athletes, are healthy during the competition. We want to minimize the chance of infecting someone during the competition. The reason why the participant is the only green sign country which has good solvency of COVID is because they are guaranteed from free from virus.
POI.
No, thank you. Have the way to solve COVID and trigger to another country who cannot participate in country Olympic because they have no COVID solvency. I will explain about the trigger later on my speech. Second, there is no supporter for each country and there will be no audience. This Olympic will be aired in every country by television or streaming link, so everybody can see and support their country from home. This is why I'm talking about the mental health, because this is the one of the entertainment who has been waited from the people around the world. We should do this because we don't want the amount of the COVID case will be increased and it will be heavier to solve COVID in the next day. This is also the win-win solution for both the holder of Tokyo Olympic and the supporter, which supporter can support their country without any chance to be infected by the virus. No, thank you. And the holder will focusing on the competition without thinking how to make health protocols for the audience. Third, we will adopt a very high health protocols to prevent the spread of COVID-19. First, the athletes should be tested and quarantined to prevent the virus in remaining in their body. The unhealthy athlete no, thank you, will be not participating in this competition and quarantined so they cannot infect the others. Second, we will make sure the stadium and the hotels is ready, clean and hygienic so that we'll have no worry to run the competition. For the watery sports such as swim, and others, we will make sure that the water are not infected by droplets, because already have the test before, it will minimize the chance of the infected water and the unhealthy athletes. We will make sure that everything goes in a health protocol so that the spread of COVID will be minimized. So our goals is easy. We want to everyone happy and healthy during this stressful situation. Why? Cancel the Tokyo Olympic is not justified. First, pandemic is such a stressful change to be depressed if half of the people are being stuck at the house without any entertainment. It is one of the most weighted competition and biggest entertainment to keep people happy. Happy is also one of the most important things to keep our body healthy. After more than 6 months stuck in house, we probably have depressed because work from home, school from home, and many others. So our task is much increased. Hold the Tokyo Olympic will increase the chance of releasing the stress on our mind, and we will happy to support to our country struggle to win in the Tokyo Olympic. If ourselves is happy, it will increase the amount of immunity in our body. So we will have an antibody to attack the virus. At the end of the day, after pandemic over, we will have a healthier body, so the virus will be known for us. At the end of the day, if we cancel the Tokyo Olympic and allocate the money to solve COVID only, the other side, such as sport, will not survive because they are none of fun. Also, as I said before, solving COVID might take time, and time cannot purchase by money. So allocating the money to solve COVID is not going to be effective at all. Why is holding the Tokyo Olympic is justified? First, because only green sign country that allowed to participate the Tokyo Olympic. So Tokyo Olympic will be the pioneer of other countries to solve COVID-19. Look, why is only the green country who can participate in this competition and make the other country who has not good solve of COVID-19 will be suffering because they cannot support their country. And this is a win-win solution for both health and sports side. Because the sports side will have a fun and they have trust to allow the next competition of sports. And this is the first time to us to prove that we can hold a big event in this pandemic. If we are waiting in this situation to be end, it's not going to be end at all.
Have you finished your speech, Olivia?
Thank you.
Okay, I think so. Thank you so much for the second speaker of the opposition team that spanned 7 minutes and 33 seconds. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now we move to the third speaker of the government team. We'd like to invite Mr. Rashid to deliver his substantive speech. Please, time is yours.
Okay, thanks for Mr. Hafizan because have time for me to can deliver my speech. Well, my friends, as the opposition team and my government team, we as the government team, we have goal on this debate session. The first is we should cancel and after the cancel, we use the money to provide recovery aids for the sake of humanity. Why? Because humanity is the most important thing in our life. Why it is the important thing? Because according from human rights, the humanity, why the name is human rights? Because we know it is about the humanity, and there is a lot of countries discussing about that. So it means humanity is the very, very important thing to can be used in to can be provided. So that because therefore humanity is the most important thing than sports. And then I will rebut the argument from the second speaker. He said that people have locked himself, so they prohibited to go out, and because that nothing they can do, so they will quite bored. So because that, but he say in Tokyo Olympic, of course, we will go out and it will make a virus is go to us. But I will remind you, Tokyo Olympic is a big event and it is the international event. And I have to read, Japan's country is already provide a lot of health. Yes. For example, the TBC room patient, if you know, yeah, in Japan's country, in their hospital, there is a lot of TBC room, so it will make a lot of people will save. And for your information, TBC room is the most prestigious technology in health, and it can guarantee our netizen, maybe Japanese who will look and will participating in this event, it can guarantee their self is be health. And the athlete, you think that they can infected by this virus, but no, with TBC room patient, it can guarantee they will always help. And yeah, this is just same way with my first speaker say. He say that he say that sorry, he from the first speakers, he think that my first speakers, the athlete is, I'm sorry, from the second speakers from the opposition team, he said that because the people is in home, so they can streaming live from television the Olympic, so it will very good for their mental health, so they will not got the COVID, will not got by COVID-19. But I will remind you, if we discuss about mental health, I will go back to my, I will remind you from Salman argument. He said that we will use allocated the money from Tokyo Olympic for science that will make for science that it will make a new a very problem solving for COVID-19, and one of problem solving is for mental health, of course. For example, like in Dubai, as we know, Dubai have conduct science research for all of things that will be resolved for COVID-19, and one of that I have to read and I have to watch is about mental health. They think that and that's not from streaming live, of course, from other things. So I will report you that streaming live is it's for mental health. It's not just for from streaming live with Tokyo Olympic. Tokyo Olympic is it will still can help, but yeah, not from streaming live, I think. So in at least we have to help this event because it's very nice. We have to cancel this event because it's very risky for the country and for the human's life, as I say in the first time about humanity. And then we should to use the funds for COVID-19 recovery and solvency, because yeah, we know that COVID-19 was the big problem in our world, so it has to be resolved the first time in our world, of course. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for Mr. Rashid from the third speaker of the government that spanned 5 minutes and 52 seconds. Okay, now we move to the last speaker from the opposition team. I would like to call upon the third speaker of the opposition team, Ms. Lauza, to deliver her substantive speech. Please, time is yours.
Okay. First of all, I would like to continue my partner speech before that hasn't been completed. The second point, it is a win-win solution for both health and sports side. As my partner had said before, if many companies and country has been joined to solve the COVID, but nothing cares about the sports side, now because the sponsor companies are focusing on solving and recovering COVID-19, the sport world are not having enough fun to keep survive in the future. If the funds are allocated into COVID surveillance, yes, probably the COVID will be handled. But in the future, there will be no more sport to be proud of. And then Uh, This is because the International Sport Federation has no enough fund to help the international sports competition because all of the fund in Tokyo Olympics allocated to solve the COVID. Probably on the other side, as I said before all the companies on of the sponsor are focusing to solve COVID. After the COVID ended, they are focusing to regain their fund to keep the operating of the companies, which is mean that there are no fund for the sport. So the sport will be fading. And then at the end of the day, there will be no one cares about the world sport, as I said before. This is why we don't want to allocate the fund of Tokyo Olympic for the COVID, because the sports side will suffer. Meanwhile, the COVID has already taken care by many side eyes, such as companies. And the World Health Organizations, if we keep running the Tokyo Olympic, it's again a big success. So the trust of international sports federations will be bigger because they can run it in health protocol on this pandemic situations of the companies which focusing to recover the fund to operate at the companies will probably take a peek to sponsoring the sport world again. Also, the health of the people will increase because they will have immunity by happy for supporting their country competing to win in Tokyo Olympic, and that after the vaccine can be produced legally and distributed around the world, everything will run like usual. So focusing only for COVID is not an appropriate way to solve COVID. We have to think the mental health for the people after stuck in the house for more than 6 months and stressed because of the work and school from home traditions. Because if the mind of the people are unhealthy, they will have a weak immunity and more increased chance to be infected by a virus by the low immunity. So by holding the Tokyo Olympic, we can save both sides health and happiness of the peoples and the sport world. Even though the Tokyo Olympic and the next one, even though the Tokyo Olympic has the end of the day is not going to happen, we prefer to allocate the fund we prefer to not allocate the fund into COVID-19. We prefer to allocate the fund into small club or organizations of sport all over the world to be developed. So after the situation get better, the sport world will have a potentials in the generations. And I have some comparison to the argument from the speakers before. The first speakers are talking about the amount of the Olympiad that has a lot of amount that can be used for helping the health the the COVID-19 cases. Uh, well, I think there are organizations that already responsible of that, so the fund is not effective to allocate to the cases anymore. And the other thing, after we take a look for the couples of take a look on backward, there are lots of organizations and the local companies that are helping the funding of the COVID-19 cases. So I think another help for the COVID-19 are needed anymore. We should take a look another field and possibilities for them to survive in our topic today is sports. We don't need to rush on the productions of vaccines because we doesn't want the failure. Even the scientists who tested the vaccine need to be carefully tested, so the cure will be found with a matter of time. And then if we if we don't run the Olympiad Tokyo Olympic this time, when would it be? The COVID-19 cases are decreasing, but they were also increasing in the several times. So I think this pandemic is not going to over. So holding the Olympic might be the effective might be the best way to us to do. Even though and then replying to the second speakers of the government team, uh, uh, you were saying about in the name of humanity, why should sport is important? Well, as our speakers has said, we are we are we are we are wanted to make people happy, mentally happy and healthy, mentally and physically. Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much for the third speaker of the opposition of the House that spanned about 7 minutes and 9 seconds. Okay, the debate is over, and for the closing, I would like to invite the reply speakers from the opposition team here. Please, time is yours.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am agree that the government team said the humanity is the most important thing, and also the humanity is the most urgent thing to do and solve it right now. But I don't get why are they want very to allocate the fund of the Tokyo Olympic to allocate to solving and recovering COVID-19. They only talk about we want to give a problem solving a research how to solving and recovering COVID-19 such as mental health, as I said before, but they are not talking how to solve the humanity itself. And they said in Dubai they conduct a research that maybe to solve the COVID and also the mental health of the people who are locking down in the house. But I think coronavirus is not going to be end at all. It is a virus. It's like the influenza virus, which is we will live it with it until the end of the world. So until when the research will be going on? I think by running the Tokyo Olympic 2020, it is one of our effort to make the mental health, so the immunity of the people will be increased too. Why? Because first, they are happy to supporting their country to efforting and competing in Tokyo Olympic 2020. And the second is, they said the streaming live is not one of mental health problem solving. I think it is not. Why? Because people are supporting their own country. Their patriotic soul will be called, and hey, this is my country. This is my pride. I have to support this. Like we will be more attractive, and we will be more fired up to live our life. And also, even too, the Tokyo Olympic at the end of the day is not going to be happen. We prefer not to allocate the fund into COVID-19 because of what? First, I have mentioned before that you are talking the humanity, but you are not talking how to solve so the humanity is going to be better. I already mentioned that Unilever, one of the biggest industrial company, are taking the responsibilities to solve the humanity, such as make sure that the food bank is enough to feed the people, and also give them charity to survive their small business so they can survive in the future. But you are not talking about that. Even too, you are talking about humanity rights. And We prefer to allocate the fund into the small club or organization of sport all over the world to be developed. So after the situation better, the sports will have a potential generation. Imagine that the sports is going to be a potential. There's so many sites will be increased the potential too, like the small business. If we in the better situation, if we held the sport competition, there will be more like ticket seller, so we can help someone to sell the ticket so they can run the small business, right? Okay, thanks. So I think the idea to allocate the fund of the Tokyo Olympic 2020 to COVID-19 is not going to be effective at all. Thank you for me.
Thank you so much for the closing statement or the right speech from the opposition team, Ms. Olivia. And now we move to the last speaker from the government team, delivered by Mr. Fion. Please, time is yours.
Okay, so firstly, I will bring out all the flaws, all the mistakes, and I found many of them. I found contradictions here and there between the first speaker and the second speaker and the third speaker, and I will bring out those flaws from the opposition team. So the first speaker said that COVID-19 needs years and years of research. Then why would the opposition team oppose to the motion which makes COVID-19 accelerates its researches? Why would you accept to the fact that COVID needs years and years of research, but you reject the fact that canceling the Tokyo Olympic 2021 is going to make those researches faster? And then moving on to the second speaker, and this also goes the same for the third, because I think those two arguments are not that different. So basically, the second and third speaker said that people in the current situation in lockdowns, they are going to be bored because they have, and then by getting bored, they will not get the sufficient amount of happiness. That's what I caught from those two. But the thing is, this is not always the fact in the status quo, because this is basically, how can you know that someone is happy and someone is not? Just try to imagine, are your friends now studying from home? Are they more happy to study at home? Are they more happy in the current situation, which is lockdown, or will they be happier outside? And then, because this is a subjective opinion, then I think that is not acceptable by this house. And then secondly, they said that happiness and the increase of a person's mental welfare will make them healthy, will make them immune. I cannot find this argument logical, because this is a very subjective thing, and it has no foundation whatsoever no foundation whatsoever to back up this opinion. And I would like to extend my speech, because the first thing is, the first speaker of the opposition team, or even the second and third, did not rebut to my argument in the first, where the Olympics or any sports event, by the nature of those things, by the nature of Olympics, they are not supposed to go in line with the current health protocols. and then they say that people will get bored at home, but this is another contradiction. People will get bored at home while they believe that there are already so many organizations out there, like World Health Organization, that says lockdowns is a must. And this is another contradictive argument from their side. So I think the judges know who to support tonight. Proud to propose.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fian, for your speech that spanned 4 minutes and 24 seconds. Okay, since the last speech has been delivered by the reply speaker from the government team, so now I would like to invite all of the adjudicators to enter the breakout rooms, adjudicators hall, for about 15 minutes to decide and prepare their comments and remarks and decide the winner for tonight's debate, and also the scoring and the announcement of margins, and all, of course, the winner for both teams. And the announcement will be announced by Mr. Jordan Gunawan as the head of the judges. And for all the other participants are allowed either to stay or leave the room and then come back in the next 15 minutes. Okay. I will open the breakout room and send all of the judges to the adjudicators hall. Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, since all of the participants has come back to the so now I give all of the room to the adjudicators that will be led by Mr. Jordan Gunawan as the head of adjudicators. Please, time is. I'm sorry, Mr. You are still muted.
Okay,
yeah.
I'm very sorry. Thank you very much, brothers. You know, all the students, I'm so happy to see you, students of Muallim and Muallimat, as you may deliver your idea and then joining this kind of competitions for the vaccines. I think as the youth and the future leaders, we have to know how to deliver our idea and creating what we call as a critical thinking for us. But before I start to deliver the conclusions from all the judges, let me just inform you for some evaluations that I want to deliver to you all. Everybody here? Okay, right. So I will make it for first in general things. All the judges say that it is like what I always say, that it is like mens sana in corpore sano, the government talking ke sana, the opposition talking ke sono. So there is no debate, there is no rebate, and there is no continuations of the mind and thinking among the speakers. That's a problem. Generally, it happens because first is you have no mind mapping first. And the second is you don't know the structure of the debate. And the third is you always read the draft. And those three will influence your ability when you deliver your statement in debate. Because if you just read everything based on the draft, so you never think on what you want to deliver. Debater have to have the critical thinking. They know how to deliver the statement based on the mind mapping your mind. So what should I say in this part? What should I say in this part and others? Okay. The next is about the structure of the debate. First is, it is better for you, like for first speaker, especially you can introduce yourself first and then say hello to the judges and also for all. Do not directly jump to your statement. You can say like, ladies and gentlemen, or honorable judges, or the majesty, or others. You can make it like that. So it could be feel like more relaxed in terms of a starting as a starting point for your debate style. And then read the draft. I suggest you to just use only pointers, okay? If you would like to write down about something on the paper, so you don't need to be disturbed by all the statement that you already wrote in your paper, since it will be horrible. It would be horrible when you just read everything as what Lauza did, because Lauza never see the camera even for the whole time. Yeah, others they are 3/4 of the hours. Yeah, they just see the draft without having any eye contact with everybody here. You know, when you are in the debate, maybe maybe the judge sometimes don't want to care on where is the positions of your face, your eyes, but here in the camera it is very clear, because we are very close here, you know, very close. I have been in many regional, local, and national competitions, adjudicators for the debate. I feel like when when I just sit down there, you know, sometimes I just close my eyes and then listen to the debate, and just sometimes just 1 or 2 times you just see the movement of the debater. But today, when I just watch this, you know, I completely see your eyes. So this is the horrible things from this virtual debate, because everybody will see your face, will see your eyes. Okay. Okay, but Brother Hafizan, should I also deliver all the statement for all the participants? Because I think it is better for them to just know about the weaknesses of them one by one.
I think just general comments for both
general
teams.
comments.
Just general comments for both teams, and yes.
Okay.
But if you want to give a personal comment on a particular speaker, it's okay.
Okay, right. So right. So thank you very much, Mas Hafizan. You know, I impressed with your English, Fian. Your English is perfect. Okay. You have no problem with that. You have no problem with pronunciations, but unfortunately, your problem is you don't know the structure of the debate. Your power is in your English. Your power is in a language, your pronunciations. People, when just listen your English, okay, they catch the point directly. They catch the point directly. Without the doubt, I don't know whether you have any experiences maybe going abroad or stay there for 2 or 3 or 4 years. I don't know, but yeah, you nail it. Okay, but the problem is, again and again, you don't know the structure of the debate. Why? You don't start to create the limitations of the debate. Okay, your job, firstly, as a first debater, the first speaker, you have to make first is how to remind the people that the topics of the debates or the motions is this. Say like, what is the motions? Okay, our motions is this House believes that Tokyo Olympics should be cancelled and all of the money allocated to run Olympics need to be redirected to COVID-19 solvency and recovery. All the judges and ladies and gentlemen, let me just try to blah, 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 okay? Or you can create the limitations because you are the most important persons in this debate as the first speaker. Okay? When you try to build your argumentations, the starting point should be come from you, Mas Fian. Okay? Not from others. But the problem is when you don't try to limit and build the argumentations, it is also do not be catch well by Anissa as the first speaker of the oppositions. Anissa should create these limitations and catch the opportunity to kick out Fian from these competitions, but you don't do it. There's a problem, okay? So Fian, you just talk about what is lockdown and others. For me, myself, it has no relationship at all for this motions. Okay, maybe for 1 or 2 sentences that's okay, but the whole of your statement for first time you just talk about lockdown and blah 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 blah. Why don't you just try to start by delivering the what is the beliefs that actually the Olympics should be cancelled by this reason, blah 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 blah, and it could be emphasizing for the next speakers. Okay, so that's your way. And then for Anissa, you know, you have to be very careful with your pronunciation. Say like you said purchase, yeah, just purchase, and then examine. It is wrong actually. It is similar when the people just said determine. Yeah, it should be determine, and also it should be examine. Yeah, so be careful about the pronunciations that actually people will directly knows that your English is very weak because of that. Then be careful also with your pauses, but so you always use the choppy sentences, choppy words. So I feel like when I just close my eyes, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know why you have to stop in that point. Why you have to use this additional word without having any connections with this. So that's what I feel. Okay, so why did you just start by replaying the statement from first speakers? Okay, so I think that's the problems happen. Then you see also Alifia, you're okay, but no rebate, no debate. Why don't you try to say like before I continue the argumentations building of our teams, allow me to debate, then it also directly will strengthening the position, the statement from our team and blah 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 blah. Okay, you can add it because you know your positions is the superpower one. Okay, the second speaker, the superpower one. You have to talk long. Okay, you have to talk long with the very long time, emphasizing something which already delivered by the first speaker. Okay, Alifia. I forget the second. Alifia, I don't know. I'm still confused. Green country that you over and blah blah blah. No. I'm still confused with that, since for me, yeah, it is very shallow, like something very shallow to just deliver your recommendations with that, because you are the second speaker. The third speaker, like you know, according to, not according from. Okay, so you have the problem with that, mas according to, not according from. And then you always said tuken. Yeah, it's also horrible things that when the student in UMY also always said can tu. Yeah, it's dirty things. Yeah, yeah, and then you did tuken. Yeah, so that's the wrong things. Mas Rashid, I know that from your statement, you just copied Indonesian article into English, and then you use your terms. For example, you always said TBC. There is no TBC in the word, mas, but TB. Yeah, but better for you to say tuberculosis. People never say that terms actually for tuberculosis. And then Lauza, your English is very good, but no power. I'm very sorry that actually you got a problem with your microphone. I don't know what was happening at the time, but for me as a judge, I cannot feel satisfied when I just listen something very the voice is very small. Then yeah, you're smart, but you read the paper. That's a problem. Oh, and then the last but not least, okay, this is a problem also, Mas Fian. You are good, you catch the point, but the problem is, I do apologize that please do not say you got a mistake, you got the contradictions, but you have to say like what I say, maybe something better than that statement. Say like, you got a fallacy of thinking, you got a fallacy of logics. Yeah, so you can use, I'm very sorry, just 1 minute, someone just knocked my door, please. Maybe Mas Binang or Mbak Novi would like to also add something for them. Okay, the last is Alivia. I recall the statement from all the colleagues as your job as the third speaker, as the fourth speaker, as for your closing. And the last is about recommendation. So it is something very important to be delivered by all the speakers or in this debate. So I think that's all from me. Maybe Binang and also Mbak Novi would like to add something. Okay, just I want to give the time for them. Monggo Mbak Novi and also Mas Binang.
Mungkin dari Mas Binang atau saya dulu, Mas Binang?
Mbak Novi dulu aja, Mbak. Gak apa-apa.
Oke, baik. Ini mau pakai bahasa Indonesia atau bahasa Inggris?
English.
Okay. So right now, I just want to give you the general overview for this debate. So we think this debate is under average debate because of several reasons. First of all, it includes of the proliferation or the explanation of your reasons. For example, you are arguing for one thing, but we do not see any reason goes to the evidence and the link back why this is so important. For example, you are talking about the ideas of humanity. However, it needs to be explained what kind of humanity and how it can be successful the moment the funding will be allocated directly. And second of all, it might be in the idea of the Okay, the allocating dana is not effective. It might be comes from the idea of opposition. However, there is no explanation how the effective way, the moment when you are allocating your funding to this competition. And second of all, in terms of engagement, I do not see any engagement for you guys. It might be government keeps saying about the humanity, economical recession or such. However, there is no engagement toward the opposition cases. For example, talking about what if it can be safe for the athlete in the future, why this is your position or the government or prioritizing the funding to humanity is really more important towards the athlete in the future. For example, you can argue that that athlete also has sponsor. They also has been accommodated by one club, and they also have an accommodation itself. So we think that this is not urgent anyway, and we need to realize that right now the global cases is regarding the COVID-19 is endless war. So that we think that how much funding that we allocate will not be enough for us to solve, so that we need to allocating all of the funding. It also includes for the Olympic funding to relocate to COVID solvency. For example, government can say like that. And for the opposition, you also need to engage, even though you want to preserve your athlete future, while the humanity can be hand in hand, even though you are allocating your dana, your budget, so that you need to portray what kind of world that you want and how the moment your proposal is going to be applied and what is the best reason and also the worst case scenario. Even though, for example, the Olympic Tokyo is not success, why this is a good anyway compared to the government cases. And it also happened vice versa. We think that you need to back and forth to the argument of opponents. You need to compare which world that can be beneficial and be the most effective way in current condition or in status quo. I think this is the important thing of the debate, because the engagement will give you the biggest score. So we think that you need to be careful and more scrutinize what actually opposition won. So I think this is the additional what kind of suggestion that I can deliver to you guys.
Thank you, Mbak Novi. First of all, I'd like to say I'm very surprised that you are still in the senior high, because the way you deliver your argument, the way you create it or you build your argument is very good. Unfortunately, that is also the reason why you should be aware about your argument, because just like Pak Yordan and Mbak Novi said, the debate is a bit of loss of engagement. This happens also because you don't have an argument within yourself. Maybe you have an argument, but as a team consists of 3 people, which means that every person, every speaker has their own argument. That is the main thing of being the speaker, because you have to deliver your own argument. You have to also to counter your opponent argument and to support your colleague argument by saying the evidence, or the each argument is connecting each other. So that's the beauty of debate. You have to be smart by yourself, but also you have to combine your smartness as a team. And there's also one suggestion that I like to added by by Pak Yordan, that say that you all seems to be reading your draft or your script. Reading draft or script in debate is a bit crucial and essential, because once you read a lot, once you too focus on your draft or your script, it will ruin your logic. It will ruin the flow of your argument, because you're only focusing on what you're reading, not by analyzing or creating an argument at instance. What I mean by creating an argument at instant is because you are listening your opponent arguments, and at that time, at the current time you're listening, you have to be aware and you have to be always think that is the wrong argument. You have to think, you have to use the result of your research, because of course you have to be full of research before you are before you start your argument. And that is also the reason why if you read too much on your draft, you will lose your fluency of English, because this is English debate, then English proficiency and fluency is significantly important. Once you read a lot, you don't have intonation, you don't have pausing yourself by creating silent moment is crucial to emphasize that this is the right time, this is the main point of my argument. Use your body language to support your nervous, to counter your nervous. This is significantly important, because once you don't move your hand or give intonations, then you're not you cannot call yourself as a debater, because if you only read the script or the draft, your friend, which is have a good reading skill, good English proficiency, can do it, can replace yourself. And once you are become debater, you have to always remind yourself, no more reading too much on the draft. Only focus on your argument, focus on the point, then use your logic, use your analyze to think again, and then always have a huge backup on your research. Because if you don't have any research on the issue or a topic, then you don't have a counter argument. You don't have ammunition to counter your opponent's argument, and that's the crucial thing. If you don't do it, then there's no engagement, like Ms. Bayofi and Payordan said. So that's my addition. That's my additional comment on this debate, simulation debate. But overall, I do believe that you will have a very bright future in this debate if you practice more. Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Brother Bina, and also Sister Novi. So I think the conclusion is debater is researcher. So maybe I could suggest for Mu'alimin and also Mu'alimat to just also prepare the researcher teams, because when you don't have a researcher teams, Bapak Ibu, you will go to trouble. So there should be a teams that voluntarily help these teams to go to the research, Pak Setia, and also from Mu'alimat. So I think that's the way to make these debater team gonna be better in the future. So what we did also with Mas Binang last time, maybe the style is a little bit different, but last time when I was a coach for Mas Binang for a long time, for about 3 until 4 years, when he joined many national debate competitions, our debate is about low debate. So many articles, many quotes, many perspective from many experts have to be delivered as considerations for the judges to decide whether this team is going to be the winner or not. So I think the debate is also about quotes from the experts. Okay, so especially for international relations, because I also teach international relations department in UI, UMY, and UPN. So I have to also read all the books about international relations, because my field is public international law. Mas Binang is also was my advisee when he is in S1. Yeah, he also now continuing the Master of Laws in Public International Law. But sometimes I also, because I teach in WII and UPM, Mas Binang also now is my assistant in WII. So we also read the International Relations book, which actually for me fully with quotes from some experts. So I think that's all from us. So thank you very much, Mbak Novi and also Mas Binang for additional comments for all this. I forget about from Mu'alimin. From Mu'alimin, Pak Munzilin, and also Pak Setia. I think if we still have a more time, we can make this debater teams to be better, like meeting directly with them, of course, following the protocols that we need to. Mas Binang is very close with Mu'alimin now. The house is in, where is your house?
Ngesti Harjo.
Ngesti Harjo. So yeah, and it's very close with so very close with so he can also accompany, maybe if Mbak Novi's already been there, maybe they can collaborate or others. So I think this is going to be better for this kind of experience of him. do not think about many things because this is for Muhammadiyah. We love Muhammadiyah, so we want to start these things based on this offer. Okay, so I think, should I also announce the winner, Mas Hafizan?
Yes, please.
Okay, right.
The head of judges.
So based on our decisions, actually we know that some of the students, they may deliver the statement very well with their opinion based on their perspective and also based on what they read. But unfortunately, we have to decide that oppositions is the winner. Oppositions is the winner. Yeah, but should I also announce the best speaker for tomorrow? Brother Tian, you are the best speaker for this debate. So why we have to choose Tian? Unfortunately, is very slightly different in terms of point. You know, it is very hard for us. For me, Mas Arumbin and also Mbak Novi to decide who will be the winner of these competitions tonight. But I'm sure if you may, take a notes or taking into considerations about what we already delivered to you, what we suggest to you all, you will your ability in debate going to be elevated by that kind, because the kind of suggestions, because we deliver something based on our experience. I was also debater from 1999 until 2003, but I'm already old. Yeah, do not smile. I'm old. Started from 1999 until 2003. I was also the debater for my faculty and also my university. For first time is interfaculty English debate. Even though I don't know how to speak English at the time, you know, Pak Munzilin, Pak Setia, what I was delivered to all the participants in the debate, I cannot do what you did today. I cannot do. Yeah, because you are very smart. Your English is very good. So thank you very much, Pak Moderator. So happy to be here, and also very pleasure to be a judge and to know you all. So every time we are very welcome to just to be contacted for making these teams going to be better in the future. Thank you. Moderatornya hilang. Left. Hilang sinyal nih. Mas Fian, kamu pernah di luar negeri, Mas?
Pernah, Ustaz.
Di manakah?
Di Australia juga.
Oh, makan. Iya. Sampun, Mas Hafiz.
Oke. Maaf tadi. Baik. Okay, we deliver of thanks to all adjudicators and judges for tonight. Mr. Yordan Gunawan, thank you very much. Mr. Arumbinang, thank you very much. And Ms. Novi, thank you very much. And also all of the teams from Mualimat that had prepared this meeting. And because this meeting was held by the request of our team, because the Mualimin team will face the competition of IREC in UGM, inshallah, on this Friday in 16th October. And I hope in the next meeting in the future we can hold this kind of sparring between Mualimin and Mualimat to improve your skills and also to emphasize all of our knowledge about debate. I think it's a good idea, and I think it will be better to be continuously conducted for sparring. And sebagai penutup, kami ucapkan sekali lagi terima kasih kepada Pak Yordan, Mas Binang, Mbak Novi, Ustaz Setia, terima kasih. Itu saya akhiri di sini. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.